Hi, and welcome to the Los Angeles International Film Festival. So that was The Long Isolation by Deb Lacusta and Dan Castellaneta. And I'm delighted to be joined by them today to do a Q&A. Thanks, guys.
Hi. Hi, Natasha. Nice to meet
Hello.
you. Thanks for
Lovely to
screening
have
it and
you.
including it. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I loved it. It's so innovative and different to anything else that I've seen before, or anything that I've even been involved in, or just completely unique. So
Oh, great.
yeah, tell us a little bit more about that. So how did you work to kind of develop the story, write the script with the limitations of the Zoom technology in mind? How did that whole process work?
Uh, we have a group that we workshop together with do improvisation, and we had done some performances on Zoom, but I didn't like the idea of doing all of the different windows. So one way of doing it was for each of us to do improvise a monologue. So we presented a show where each person did an individual monologue with a background, a different background that was connected to the monologue.
And that was inspired by Alan Bennett's
Talking Heads.
Talking Heads, which is like a wonderful piece.
Yeah. And so somebody would have, they would have a background of a train station or something, and that monologue would have to be about somebody they're waiting for on the train. I thought, why don't we try doing this with one long story instead of a bunch of different monologues? And I remembered the film Lady in the Lake, where it was a detective story where everything was from the point of view of the detective. And at the same time, I had been reading a lot of Dashiell Hammett and Ross MacDonald and Raymond Chandler, and thought I had a pretty good handle on. And also, Deb is a fan of detective stuff. So we knew our cast. We kind of cobbled together different elements of all of those different detective novels.
Yeah, we looked at like film noirs, and we just thought about there's always a femme fatale or two. There's always a like the Maltese Falcon. There's always
they call the MacGuffin.
the MacGuffin. So we'll have that be the Fishfeld. There's always these elements, and we just kind of made a list, and we figured out how to incorporate that into our story.
And we knew each person in our group. Well, so and so can be the femme fatale. So and so can be the kind of creepy henchman, and so forth. And then we got backgrounds from the LA Public Library's got an archive of photographs from the era, from the 40s and early 50s. And then we would send everybody, if they didn't have it, a green screen, because it was better than doing what you do on Zoom, where you can put a background in, because sometimes that wasn't always workable. And then sent them the costumes, also if they needed lighting, all of that. And we had a person that helped us with the editing and technology, and she checked to make sure everybody's setting was proper. And then everybody shot their stuff from home, and we directed via Zoom.
Right.
And then our editor, she recorded it from her end so that she could do all of the editing.
And she used, I believe, After Effects or something to put the backgrounds in.
Yeah,
so
she would place the
technical
backgrounds in behind the actors.
And we did this project when there was no vaccines yet. It was the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, it was end of 2020 and then beginning of 2020.
And we were like, we got to do something. We don't know when this is going to end or happen. So it kind of made us get through the worst days of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Wow, that's just amazing. Tell us a little bit more about the challenges of doing it that way, directing it over Zoom and people shooting their own stuff.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you're right. Each person was essentially their lighting director, doing their own lighting, sound, and costumes. I mean, we would look at their costume pieces and okay that, and help them with lighting and check their settings. But even everyone's settings are a little bit off, so the sound levels were a big edit at the end to
the sound levels varied, so we had to, with the editor, try to do the best we can to make it as even as possible.
And the other thing that happened was that, on Zoom, things will glitch out, or if you move too fast, you get a blur. And
sometimes people would freeze.
Right. So we'd have to do more takes and more takes. And then we'd find the best take, and then we would editing that, a word dropped out or half a word. So we would have to go to another take to find that word to insert it. So there was a lot of, and doing some ADR, like added dialogue later, just to make sure that everything was hearable,
Mm-hmm.
It was challenging, but we learned a lot. It was challenging.
Yeah, the biggest was the challenges that Zoom presented, but we were able to at least able to do it. Everybody was able to do it remotely from where they were.
And it was great that it was in black and white, because if we had to deal with color correction, it would have been impossible.
Nightmare, yeah.
So it's kind of like black and white makes everything connect in a way, and also noir is, but it also kind of gave it that from another era feeling,
And there's one thing that was funny, which is that one of an actress, she was actually on a shoot while she did her
Mm-hmm.
bit, and she was in a hotel room, and but she had to scream, and so, but it was real tough because it's like, we don't want to have her keep screaming and bother the residents of the hotel. So then we actually just went and got one, and it was actually funnier to put that somebody else's scream over her.
Right.
That's just, yeah, well done, amazing. So what have you shown the film in other places, other festivals, or do you have anything coming up? What's happening?
Yeah. We originally showed it like with University of California, Santa Barbara, because they have a thing called Launchpad for new works, and we had done some new plays with them, and we were able to do it on Zoom as like under their umbrella, just to get some feedback from people, and it went really well. We were really pleased, and did some Q&As with them and with the, which was really kind of cool, because the students, it was like the instructor was kind of like, you don't have to have any limitations just because of COVID. There's ways to be creative, even when you're stuck at home. You can always get your few friends together and read a play or read an existing play, just something that you can connect with. And we are in several other film festivals. We're in the Portland Film Festival, which is online, and we'll be in the Studio City Film Festival, which will be our first in-person screening.
Wow.
So that'll be exciting. It'll be all vaccination cards and stuff, but it would be great to see at least one in-person one, because what's missing for us is the laughter. We laugh and we know we're hoping we know it's funny, but you're audience, so that'll be exciting, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's with comedy especially, I think you really need that live audience there.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And what about you two? What are you up to next? Do you have another project in the works together, or also anything individually? Tell us a bit more.
Well, we do. Deb and I also write plays, and we knew somebody who actually have been doing productions of their plays online. So they would actually video their plays and then stream them to an audience. And so we sent them a couple of plays, and they liked one of them. And so we're in discussion with them about producing that and having that shot and also streamed online, which I think is great, because now if people from all over that's one of the few good things that came out of this pandemic, is that people can see things from anywhere, in the world, mm-hmm. whether it's theater or movies, and so this will be so right now we're in the midst of preparing for that.
It's kind of like an in between shooting a film and shooting theater, because it's going to be in a black box theater with very limited set pieces, and the shoot will be probably only 4 days, so it'll be a really kind of stream. There's one location, so it'll be kind of a great way to get the theater, you know, on a small screen. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're up to.
Yeah, that's our next project.
And we still work with our improv writers group.
Yeah.
Online, of course, still, you know, but it still makes us laugh. So that's good.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everyone who was watching enjoyed the film and also the Q&A today. And if you want to get in touch with us at the LA International Film Festival, you can find us on all social channels. We are at Los Angeles IFF on Twitter and Instagram. And we also have a Facebook page and a group. So come and join us on there and we'll continue the chat. And thank you once again to Deb and Dan for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.